Protecting children from competition seemed like compassion until 30 families sued me for $180,000 in damages. Be me. 41. Head coach for U14 boys premier team in Fairfax, Virginia. Elite youth soccer, college scout track. Families paying $3,500 per year. Making $95,000 salary coaching at Vanguard Soccer Academy. PhD in sports psychology. Published research on youth athletic development. Hired specifically for my holistic approach to player development. About to destroy my career by refusing to acknowledge that my team won games. Because I thought keeping score was psychologically harmful. And learned the hard way that the world doesn't care about my philosophy. It cares about league bylaws, scholarship opportunities, and return on investment. Let me show you how ideology collided with reality. And how 30 angry parents taught me that lawsuits are also a form of scorekeeping. Vanguard Soccer Academy, Fairfax, Virginia, August 2024. I'm starting my first season as head coach for U14 Boys Premier. This is elite youth soccer, not recreational. These kids are serious. Families are doctors, lawyers, investment bankers, government contractors. Northern Virginia money, high expectations, intense commitment. They're paying $3,500 annual tuition plus travel fees, uniforms, tournaments. All in cost is probably $5,000 to $6,000 per year per kid. The club director is a guy named Michael, 43, runs the academy like a business. $1. 8M annual operating budget, 500 kids, multiple age groups. He hired me specifically because of my academic background. We want to modernize youth development, move beyond win-at-all-cost mentality. Your research on intrinsic motivation and athlete psychology is exactly what we need. I'm excited. This is my chance to implement my theories at scale. My core belief: competition at young ages is psychologically damaging. Keeping score creates hierarchy, validates some kids while invalidating others. True athletic development comes from internal motivation, not external validation. I've published papers on this, presented at conferences. This is my life's work. Now I get to prove it works in practice. The team I'm coaching is 15 boys, ages 13 to 14, U14 Premier Division. Premier means highest competitive level. These kids play year-round. They've been in the system since they were 6 to 7 years old. Most are aiming for high school varsity, then college scholarships, maybe professional. Their parents have invested tens of thousands of dollars into their development. But I see this differently. I see kids being pressured in a toxic competition. My job is to protect them from that pressure while developing their skills. First team meeting, I lay out my philosophy to the boys. This season, we're not focusing on wins and losses. We're focusing on personal growth, skill development, and love of the game. I will not be keeping score. I will not be tracking standings. Your worth is not determined by whether you win or lose. The boys look confused. Some exchange glances. One kid, striker named Jake, raises his hand. Coach, but we're in Premier Division. We have to report scores to the league. The league can track what they want. We're not internalizing that data. But don't we get relegated if we don't have enough points? We're not going to worry about relegation. We're worried about development. I can tell they're skeptical, but they're 13. They'll adapt. First practice, I implement my system. No starting lineup based on merit. Everyone plays equal minutes. No positions based on skill level. Everyone rotates through all positions. No praise for goals scored. We celebrate effort and teamwork equally. The parents are watching from sidelines. I can feel their uncertainty. After practice, few parents approach me with questions. Guy named Tom, investment banker. His son is the team's best player. Coach, I noticed you're rotating everyone through all positions. My son is a striker. He needs to develop that specific skill for college scouts. Tom, positional specialization at this age creates rigid thinking. We're developing complete players who understand all aspects of the game. He's not happy. The club director said this was elite competitive soccer. It is, but we're redefining what elite means. We're measuring success by growth, not by scoreboard. Woman named Jennifer, lawyer. Her son is smaller, less skilled. She loves my approach. Finally, a coach who understands that not everything is about winning. These kids need to learn process over outcome. This is wonderful. So I have split support. Competitive parents are concerned. Others are relieved. September 2024. First league game of the season. We're playing rival club. Both teams are premier level, competitive match. The boys play well. We score 3 goals. They score 1. On the field, scoreboard shows 3-1. We won clearly. Post-game, I gather the team in circle. Great effort today. Everyone contributed. Excellent teamwork. Jake asks, Coach, we won 3-1, right? That's a good win. We're not acknowledging the score. Jake, the score doesn't reflect your growth. We played well as a team. That's what matters. Referee approaches me with game, card to sign. This is standard procedure. Both coaches sign, confirming the score. Card shows, home 3, visitor 1. I'm supposed to sign. I refuse. I'm not signing this. I don't acknowledge the score. Referee is confused. Coach, this is required. League needs the official result. The league can track what they want. I'm not participating in scorekeeping. He looks at Michael, the club director, who's watching. Michael comes over, smooths it over, signs the card himself. After game, he pulls me aside. You need to sign the game cards. That's league protocol. We have to report results. I can't in good conscience validate a system that ranks children. This is about league administration, not child psychology. Administration is never neutral. It reinforces competitive hierarchy. Michael sighs. Just let me handle the paperwork. You focus on coaching. Perfect. He'll deal with the bureaucracy. I'll focus on the kids. Week later, Michael comes to me with concern. The league requires coaches to log game results into online portal. You have head coach credentials. You need to enter the scores. I'm not entering scores. That contradicts my entire coaching philosophy. It's a league requirement. If we don't report, there are consequences. Then the league needs to modernize their policies. I refuse to log into the portal, refuse to enter any results. Michael is frustrated, but he's busy running entire academy. He assumes I'll eventually comply or figure something out. I don't. I enter 0-0 for the first game, claiming it was a scrimmage. My reasoning: if there's no score, there's no winner or loser. Everyone is equal. Nobody's ego is damaged. Perfect solution. Games continue. We're actually doing well on the field. The boys are talented. They've been training for years. Even with my equal playing time policy, we're competitive. We win most games, 3-1, 4-2, 2-0, typical premier level scores. But I'm not reporting any of it. I'm entering 0-0 or not reporting at all. Parents are keeping their own score from sidelines. They know we're winning. But they trust that I'm handling the administrative requirements. They don't know I'm sabotaging the team's league standing. October 2024, league sends email to all coaches. Subject: score reporting compliance important. All coaches must report game results within 24 hours per league bylaws. Failure to report results will be recorded as administrative forfeits. Forfeits count as 0 to 3 losses for standings purposes. I read this email, I understand what it's saying, but I decide this is the league being rigid and bureaucratic. This is exactly the kind of toxic competitive pressure I'm fighting against. I delete the email. I don't tell anyone about it. I continue entering 0-0 or leaving games unreported. My logic: if I ignore the system, maybe I can change it. Maybe I can prove there's a better way that doesn't involve scorekeeping. November 2024, Tom emails me directly. Coach, I checked the league website. We're showing 0 points. Why does it say we have 0 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws? I explain my philosophy. We're not participating in the standing system. We're focusing on development, not league table positioning. But Tom, that affects our standing. We need points for playoffs. Playoffs are part of the competitive system we're moving beyond. He's angry now. We're paying for premier competitive soccer. That includes league standings and playoff qualification. We're redefining what premier means, focusing on intrinsic growth. Tom emails Michael, escalates the concern. Michael calls me in. Parents are noticing the standings issue. You need to go back and enter the actual scores. I can't do that. It violates my coaching principles. Your principles are creating problems with families who pay significant tuition. Maybe those families need to reconsider what they're paying for. Michael is torn. He hired me for a progressive approach. But he's also running a business with demanding customers. Just enter the scores. You can still coach however you want. Entering the scores validates the competitive system. It's administrative compliance, not philosophical endorsement. We're at an impasse. I refuse to comply. Michael eventually backs down. He's conflict averse. Fine, I'll figure something out. Just keep coaching. But he doesn't figure anything out. He's overwhelmed with running the academy. The scores continue going unreported. I continue my system. December 2024. Season is almost over. On the field, the boys have actually done well. By my count, we've won 10 games, lost 2, drawn 0. 10-2-0 record in Premier Division. That's excellent. We should be top of the table, qualified for playoffs and regionals. College scouts should be coming to our playoff games. But none of that exists in the league's database, because I've reported every game as either 0-0 or not reported at all. January 2025, end of season, league releases final standings. Parents check the website expecting to see their son's team at top. Instead, they see something incomprehensible. Vanguard U14 boys played 12, won 0, lost 12, drawn 0.0. Last place in division, relegated to Division 3. Tom calls me immediately, livid. What is this? We won 10 games. I watched every single 1-inch. The league standings don't reflect our actual development. Development? My son is trying to get recruited for high school. Scouts don't come to Division 3 games. This is recreational level. More parents are calling, emailing, showing up at the facility. Everyone is realizing what happened. Panic is spreading. Jennifer, the lawyer who supported my approach, is furious now. You said you weren't keeping score. You didn't say you were sabotaging league standing. I'm not sabotaging. I'm refusing to participate in toxic competition. My son's scholarship opportunities are based on playing premier level. Division 3 means no college scouts, no showcase tournaments, nothing. Michael receives official letter from league commissioner. Due to failure to report results per bylaw 4.2, all unreported games recorded as forfeits. Forfeits are scored as 0 to 3 losses per league regulations. Vanguard U14 boys is relegated to Division 3 effective next season. Michael brings me into his office. He's pale, stressed. Do you understand what you've done? The team is relegated. Relegation is a construct of the competitive system we're challenging. Relegation means these families paid for premier level and got Division 3. They paid for the experience and development, which I provided. They paid for college scout exposure, playoff qualification, competitive environment, all of which are externalized validation metrics that harm development. He's not yelling, he's just defeated. You're fired, effective immediately. This is retaliation for my coaching philosophy. This is consequence of breach of contract. You agreed to follow league rules. I'm escorted out of the facility that afternoon. 3 years of planning, my chance to prove my theories. Over because I wouldn't enter numbers into a database. February 2025, the lawsuit comes. Not from the league, from the parents. 30 families, including Tom and Jennifer, file class action lawsuit. Against me personally and against the academy. Claims, breach of contract, negligence, fraud, damages, $180,000 total, $6,000 per family. The argument in the lawsuit is devastating in its simplicity. Families paid $3,500 for elite premier competition. Contract specified Premier Division League play with college scout exposure. Coach willfully failed to perform administrative duties required for Premier status. Negligent failure to report scores resulted in team relegation. Relegation to Division III eliminated college scout exposure. This constitutes material breach of contract and damages future scholarship opportunities. My lawyer reviews the case, gives me bad news. They have you. The league bylaws are clear. You were required to report scores. You refused. Team was relegated. You breached the contract terms. They have documented damages. I try to explain my philosophy, my research, my principles. None of that matters. You signed a contract to coach Premier level. Premier level has administrative requirements you ignored. But I was protecting the children from psychological harm. That's not a legal defense. That's your opinion against league regulations. We go to mediation, try to settle before trial. I'm sitting across from 30 angry parents, their lawyers, the mediator. Tom speaks first. My son was being recruited by 3 high schools. They came to watch Premier games. Now he's playing Division III. Recruiting stopped. His options have narrowed. That's real damage. Jennifer adds, I supported your philosophy about competition, but you lied by omission. You never told us you weren't reporting scores. We would have switched clubs if we knew you were tanking our league standing. Another parent, we've invested $30,000 over 8 years into our son's development. This was the critical year for College Showcase. You destroyed that. The mediator asked me directly, did you understand league bylaws required score reporting? Yes, but I believe those bylaws were harmful. Did you inform parents you would not comply with league bylaws? No, I didn't think it was relevant to their experience. So you collected tuition for a Premier competition while knowingly violating the rules. When he puts it that way, it sounds bad. But I was trying to protect the children from toxic competition. Mediator recommends settlement. The liability is clear. You breach contract, cause measurable damages, you'll lose at trial. My lawyer agrees. Settlement is best option, limits the damage. Settlement terms. I pay $90,000 personally. Academy pays $90,000. Total $180,000, split between us because I was their employee. I don't have $90,000. I have to take loan against my retirement. But it's better than going to trial where judgment might be higher. Plus attorney fees, plus the public humiliation of trial. I signed a settlement, February 2025. My career is over. Word spreads through youth soccer community instantly. Coach who refused to keep score got sued for $180,000. I'm blacklisted from elite youth coaching in the region. No academy will touch me. My name is poison. My PhD in sports psychology doesn't matter. My published research doesn't matter. What matters is I cost 30 families money and opportunities. March 2025, I'm looking for work, desperate. Can't get elite coaching positions, too much liability. Finally get offer from recreational league, coaching 8-year-olds. $38,000 annual salary, part-time, no benefits. From $95,000 elite coach to $38,000 rec league coach. From developing college prospects to teaching basic skills to children. This is my career now. This is what my principles cost me. The boys from my U14 team scatter to different clubs. Most join rival academies, get back into Premier Division. Jake, the striker, gets recruited by high school program. Despite the setback, his talent shows through. He recovers. But he lost a critical year of exposure because of my choices. Tom sends me one email after settlement. You thought you were protecting our kids from competition. Instead, you taught them that ignoring reality has consequences. That's the most valuable lesson you gave them, just not the one you intended. He's right. I taught them exactly the wrong lesson. I taught them that ideology matters more than reality. Until reality sends you a lawsuit. Now it's February 2026, 1 year after the lawsuit. I'm still coaching 8-year-olds in rec league, making $38,000. Still paying off the $90,000 loan I took for the settlement. We'll be paying it for another 8 years minimum. My research career is over. No one will publish my work now. The coach who got sued for $180,000 is my only credential. I think about that season constantly, what I could have done differently. If I just entered the scores while maintaining my coaching philosophy. If I'd been honest with parents about my position on league standings. If I'd found a way to challenge the system without sabotaging the kids. But I didn't. I chose ideological purity over practical reality. I chose my principles over their opportunities. And they chose to sue me, which was entirely reasonable. The world does keep score, whether I acknowledge it or not. Colleges track stats, employers track performance, life tracks outcomes. Pretending otherwise doesn't protect anyone. It just leaves them unprepared when reality arrives. That's what I learned at 41, coaching U14 soccer, when I decided keeping score was psychologically harmful. And 30 families decided my philosophy was financially harmful. They were right, I was wrong. The settlement agreement proved that. $180,000 proved that. My $38,000 salary proved that. My 8-year-old rec league players proved that. Now I'm here, coaching kids who don't care about college scholarships. Because they're 8, they just want to kick a ball and have fun. Which is what I thought U14 premier players should want. But they're not 8, they're 14, they have goals and plans and futures. And I took a year of that away because I knew better than them. Better than their parents, better than the league, better than reality. I was wrong about all of it. 3 years after the lawsuit, I'm 44 now. Still at the rec league, salary bumped to $42,000. Still paying the loan, $950 monthly payment. Have 6 more years of payments, constant reminder. Run into Jennifer at grocery store, the lawyer who initially supported me. She sees me. There's that awkward moment of recognition. Could walk away, pretend not to see each other. But she approaches, "Hey, how are you?" "I'm okay. Coaching rec league, working through things." I heard, "I'm sorry how everything turned out." She's being polite, but there's tension. "How's your son doing? Did he recover from the relegation?" He's at a different academy now, back in Premier. Got recruited for high school varsity, offered a partial scholarship. Relief, at least he recovered from my mistake. I'm glad he's doing well. I really did think I was helping. Jennifer pauses, choosing words carefully. I believed in your philosophy at first, about competition being harmful. But watching my son navigate the recovery, I learned something. Competition isn't what harmed him. It was the uncertainty you created. Not knowing if his season counted, if his work mattered. That's what damaged him, not the scoreboard. She's right, I see that now. The harm wasn't from winning or losing. It was from me invalidating their reality while they lived in it. I understand that now. Too late, but I understand. I hope so, because you had good intentions. You just forgot that good intentions don't matter if the execution destroys lives. She leaves, I stand in the grocery store aisle, holding pasta sauce, thinking about execution and intentions. My intentions were pure. My execution was catastrophic. That's the gap that cost $180,000. Month later, get email from Academic Journal. They're doing retrospective on youth sports psychology research. Want to interview me about my published work. I agree, thinking maybe I can still contribute to the field. Interview is via Zoom, professor from University in California. Dr. Anderson, your early research on intrinsic motivation was groundbreaking. But we wanted to ask about the Vanguard incident. How has that experience informed your current understanding? So they know, everyone knows, it's part of my permanent record. It taught me that theory and practice exist in different contexts. What works in a controlled research environment doesn't always translate. Specifically, what did you learn about implementation? I learned that you can't unilaterally impose philosophical changes on a system. Not without consent from stakeholders, not without considering consequences. The parents and players were stakeholders in a Premier League system. I tried to change their system without their input or agreement. Professor nods. So the failure wasn't in the philosophy itself. The failure was in the implementation methodology. Exactly. I should have been transparent about my approach. Should have given families choice to opt in or opt out. Should have created a separate, non-competitive track instead of hijacking Premiere. Interview ends, but they don't publish it. Later I find out why. Editor decided it was too controversial. My name is still toxic, even in academic circles. Even 3 years later, the lawsuit defines me more than my research. That's the price of catastrophic failure in the internet age. One mistake, documented and shared, becomes your permanent identity. Fall 2026, new season starting at Rec League. I'm coaching U10 boys now, moved up from U8. These kids are starting to understand competition, starting to care about winning. One practice, kid named Marcus scores goal in scrimmage. He's celebrating, running around, his teammates are cheering. Old me would have shut that down. We don't celebrate individual achievements. New me lets him celebrate, lets the team share the joy. After practice, Marcus's dad approaches me. Thanks for letting him celebrate. He was so excited. Of course, he earned that goal. Work hard on his shooting. I heard you used to coach at higher levels. Why Rec League now? Here's the moment. Do I tell the truth or deflect? I made some mistakes in my previous position. Learning from them now. What kind of mistakes, if you don't mind me asking? He's genuine, curious, not accusatory. I let my philosophy override my responsibilities. Thought I knew better than the system I was working in. Cost families a lot of money and opportunities. His expression changes, recognition. Wait, are you the coach from the lawsuit? The Vanguard thing? Yes, that was me, expecting him to pull his kid from my team. Instead, he says, that took guts to admit. Most people would have made excuses or blamed others. Surprised? I blamed others for a long time. Doesn't change what happened. My wife and I talked about that case. We're both teachers. We actually agreed with some of your philosophy about competition. Just not how you implemented it without telling anyone. Exactly right. The philosophy wasn't wrong. The execution was. He pauses. For what it's worth, Marcus loves your coaching. You teach fundamentals well. You're patient. You encourage everyone. Maybe this is where you're supposed to be. That hits differently than I expected. Maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Not because I failed upward, but because I failed into competence. These Rec League kids don't need an ideologue. They need a coach who teaches skills and makes soccer fun. I can do that now. I couldn't do that at Premier level. At Premier level, I was too busy proving my philosophy. Here, I'm just coaching kids who want to play soccer. December 2026, 4 years after the original season. Get LinkedIn message from Jake, the striker for my U14 team. He's 18 now, senior in high school. Coach Anderson, want to let you know I signed with college program. Full scholarship to D3 school, starting in fall. I'm genuinely happy for him, despite everything. Reply, congratulations, Jake. You earned that. You worked hard. He responds, that season with you was weird, but I learned from it. Learned that even good people can make big mistakes. And that mistakes have real consequences. I'm glad you recovered. You deserve the opportunity. Thanks, and I hope you're doing okay. For what it's worth, I don't think you're a bad person. Just someone who believes something so strongly, you couldn't see the damage. That's the most generous interpretation of my failure. Someone who believed so strongly, I couldn't see the damage. That's exactly what happened. I was so committed to my philosophy about competition that I couldn't see I was destroying the exact thing I thought I was protecting. The kids' love of the game, their opportunities, their futures. I damaged all of it while thinking I was saving it. Now it's February 2027, 5 years since the lawsuit. Final payment on my loan posts, $90,000 paid off. 5 years of $950 monthly payments finally done. Sit in my apartment, looking at the paid-in full statement. $90,000 for refusing to enter scores into a database. That's the cost of ideological purity without practical wisdom. But I'm still here, still coaching, still learning. 44 years old, making $42,000 coaching Rec League. Not the career I imagined when I got my PhD. Not the impact I thought I'd have on youth sports. But it's honest work, and the kids are learning. And I'm learning too, every practice, every game. Learning that competition isn't the enemy. Extremism is the enemy. even extremism in pursuit of good. Learning that protecting kids means preparing them for reality. Not pretending reality doesn't exist. Learning that humility matters more than being right. And that listening to stakeholders matters more than imposing vision. All lessons I should have learned before I cost 30 families $6,000 each. Before I torpedoed my career and my reputation. Before I became a cautionary tale in youth sports circles. But I'm learning them now, 5 years late. Better late than never, though never would have been better. That's what I think about now, at 44, coaching U10 Rec League. While Jake plays college soccer on scholarship. While Tom's son plays high school varsity. While 30 families recovered and moved on with their lives. They all survived my mistake and found success anyway. That's the good news. They didn't need me to succeed. They succeeded despite me because they're talented and determined. And because they found coaches who understood that philosophy and practice both matter. That's the lesson I teach my rec league kids now. Not explicitly, but through how I coach. I celebrate their goals. I acknowledge when they win. But I also emphasize effort, growth, teamwork, fundamentals. Both matter. Competition and development aren't opposites. They're complementary if you have the wisdom to balance them. I didn't have that wisdom at 41. Maybe I have a little more now at 44. Maybe not enough, but some. Enough to know that refusing to keep score doesn't protect anyone. It just leaves them unprepared when the world inevitably keeps score anyway. And the world always keeps score in lawsuits, in loan payments, in career trajectories. In the difference between $95,000 and $42,000. In the difference between elite coaching and rec league. In the difference between being right and being effective. I chose being right. I lost effectiveness. And I'm still paying for that choice. Not financially anymore. Loan is paid. But in every other way that matters.